Have you ever wanted to show your own custom map inside of your Collect app, inside of your ODK Collect or Kobo Collect? Well, on screen, I have a form called Geofencing Map. And you can see on that screen that there's a little map symbol to the right of it. So I'm going to click on that little symbol instead of on the kind of main text. And when I do that, it's going to open up a map. And what I've done is I've put in my own custom map in the background. So you can see that I've drawn my own polygons. I've put in some aerial imagery so that I kind of know where I am. And you can see even here, there's a couple of markers here, and that's where I've actually previously collected data, even in this form. How do you do this? How do you put your own custom map inside of ODK Collect? Okay, so here we are in the QGIS piece of software. So we've got a map up. And this one, I've created this map already. So I've created these polygons and I've pulled in some aerial imagery in the background. So you can kind of see the context of kind of aerial imagery with my designated data collection areas drawn over top, and I've added in some labels, S road, W road, and R road. Okay, so this is what I want to see when I go into my app. Potentially you collect data offline and you don't have a base map that just shows up in the background because you're not connected to Wi-Fi when you're collecting data. This would be a great example of what you can do instead so that people still have a map when they go out to collect data. So once you've kind of created the map, you've made it look the way you want it to look. I want you to click on this little gear icon up here, and you can find in raster tools, okay, generate. So if you just find raster tools and expand that, you'll see something called generate XYZ tiles, MB tiles. So I'm going to double click on that, and it's going to bring up a little box here. And I'm going to start entering some data. So for extent, all that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my map canvas extent because I just want to see what I can see on the screen. Then I'm going to leave minimum zoom at 12 and I'm going to move my maximum zoom up to 18. That feels about right or about comfortable to me. I'm going to leave DPI the way it is, background color the way it is. That means if you are connected to Wi-Fi, if there is a base map behind it, this base map color of transparent, you'll still be able to see the base map behind it. This is then called a reference map. And then an output file. So I'm going to save to a file and I'm going to give this a name. And the save as type is called .mb tiles, okay? So when I'm done that, I'm gonna click save, and then at the very bottom of this screen, I'm just gonna click run. Now it's just going to run through some processing here, and it's gonna be creating this file, this MB tiles file, and that's the file we want to use inside of our app. It's the file we want to kind of put into our Android device, basically. Once that's done, you can close that. Okay, and now what you can see on screen is I have two kind of files open, okay? So I just have my Windows Explorer. One of them is where I've just saved my MB tiles. So you can see here I've got little litter inventory with labels, which is the one we just created, okay? So I've got that MB tiles. And you can see I've already created a couple of others, which is what you've already seen on screen previously, but this is the one we've just created together. Then in here, you can see that I actually am inside of my phone. So I've connected my phone to my computer, and what you're going to do is you're going to navigate to your ODK Collect or your Kobo Collect storage area, okay? So if you're in your phone, go to it could be under SD card or internal storage. Mine's under internal storage. If you can't find it here, go into the other one. And then you're going to go to Android, you're gonna go into data, and then you're going to go find a file called org.odk.collect.android, okay? You can see that Kobo Collect might have something similar, which is up here, but ODK Collect is this one. Then you're gonna go into Files and Projects. Now inside Projects, you're gonna see maybe just one file. I see a few because I have a few different projects or accounts set up within my account. Now, if I go in here and go into Forms, that's not the right one. So just check, make sure you have the kind of correct one. This is the one I want. So I can see my geofencing inventory project right there. You're going to see that forms folder, which is where you can check that you're in the right project. But then you'll also see something called layers, or you should see something called layers. If you don't, you can add it. And in layers, you can see here, I already have some MB tiles files here, but this is where you want to put this file that we've just created. So I'm just going to drag and drop it into here, and you'll see that it will just upload, and now it's on my phone. Okay, so then we're going to take a quick look at our XLS form, and we're going to pop back into ODK Collect, and we will see how it all works together. So on screen, you see my XLS form. Now, I have a GeoPoint, so I'm collecting one data point in this form. And under the column appearance, I've given it appearance of placement-map. Now this means I'm going to be able to see my map when I go to collect a GeoPoint. You could also use an appearance called maps, so that will work equally well. For maps, you can only take the GeoPoint where you are standing currently. Because I'm sitting at my desk, I want to take a point that's not at my desk. I want to take it within my data collection area. So I'm going to use an appearance called placement map, so I can place my marker wherever I want. But if you are sending out data collectors into an area where you want them to be standing in the same area where the GeoPoint is being collected, then feel free to just use maps, and that will prevent them from being able to put the marker wherever they want. They have to take it where they're standing. So I'm going to use placement map, save that. Now I'm uploading that into Kobo Toolbox, everything. I'm not going to show you that here. I'm going to jump right into Kobo Toolbox or my ODK Collect, because you know that we've got the form up there. We have a CSV file. I'll leave you the link to another video that also explains a little bit more about this XLS form and what we're doing with it, how we create a geofence within this. But then we'll also show you how you can bring up that custom map in the background. So we've already got the map tiles in our phone. So let's bring up the phone. Okay, so I've got ODK Collect on screen. I'm just going to click on Get Blank Form, and I'm going to re-download or get that blank form again, just so it definitely is referencing the latest data. Okay, so we can see here geofencing maps. That is the information I'm after. So I'm just going to click that, say Get Selected, fill blank form, and I definitely have the latest version of that. So if I click on geofencing maps, I select my date, swipe forward. Now I can select an area of waste inventory. If I think I'm on our road, I'm going to start my GeoPoint. It's allowed me to kind of move around here a little bit, and you can see that at this zoom level, my reference map all of a sudden shows up. So you can see the green kind of map in the background with all the roads and everything, what you see here on screen. That's coming from Wi-Fi. That's called a base map, and we've set it up in settings so it just kind of pulls in from Google. So you can see there in the bottom left-hand corner that this is a Google map. But this in the middle of the screen is my reference map. It's my MB tile, the one we've just created together. And so as we zoom in there, we can see then the roads and the road names that we had labeled on our QGIS project, okay? And this is kind of how we created that MB tile, okay? So in here, I can then, okay, if I want to be on our road, maybe I'm over here, I'm just gonna press and hold, and you can see that a little dot has been created on the screen. So that's now a marker. If I want to press and hold somewhere else, okay, you can see that it's now moved that marker. Now, if I'm happy with where that marker is, and again, this is because I have placement map. If I just had the appearance maps, I would only be able to take the marker where I'm actually stood. So now we can just press save, the little save icon over on the right-hand side. And it now takes that GPS point in our road. And when we swipe forward, it says, yes, you're inside the inventory area. Now that's because we have geofencing set up within this XLS form. Again, I'll leave a link to that video so you understand how you can do that at the end of the video. How many pieces of waste are on the site? Let's say 1. We'll take a picture. And no other notes. And I'm just going to say I left it there, okay? Save form and exit. Now, if we go back to fill blank form and click on that little mapping icon next to our map or form, you can see now that it's added a point. This point right here is actually where we have just collected data. Now, if I click on that, you can see I can edit the saved form down here by clicking there and actually look at any of the data that I want to. Or I can just ignore that. Or if I'm in this screen, I can also add another form just by clicking in the little the bottom right-hand corner, the little plus symbol on the piece of paper, okay? And that will take me into a brand new form and I can start collecting data all over again. That's just a little bit of an overview of what that kind of custom map might look like, both, if you can see the overview and see the whole map overall, and you can jump into the GeoPoint, GeoTrace, or GeoShape and actually have that reference background map show up even if you're not online. So it's a very offline map. So your data collectors don't have to be connected to Wi-Fi to even know where they are and have a kind of overall or overhead aerial view of where they're actually supposed to be collecting data. Hopefully that's helpful. If it is, we'd love for you to stick around, press subscribe, leave a comment, hit the like button, whatever you would like to do to just stay connected. It would be great to know how you're using this in your program and what you like to use custom maps for. And if you have any questions or comments, definitely just get in touch. All right, until next time, have a great time data collecting.